Aye.
Hello,
Aye.
Liz.
So we are online. So today is 16th of September, 2023. So let's have another great study. And I will start our conversation today with a little prayer. Father, thou art in heaven. Here we are again in this beautiful Saturday. Whenever we are, looking forward to this opportunity to share our thoughts, experiences, and to learn a bit about mediumship. Be with us today and always. So be it. So let me share the book with you all. I need to close this. I need to move that to the bottom to not disturb us. So today we will start with item 197. Is good mediums. I think this topic is interesting because sometimes we feel like we are good enough, and sometimes we feel like we are not good enough. And here Kardec gives us some guidelines to see what would be considered a good medium. Serious medium. Those who only use their abilities for the good and the truly useful purpose. They regard it as a profanation to put them at the service of curious and indifferent persons or for useless purpose. I think in that sentence, it does cover pretty much a serious medium, right? He did not mention, but I would add, a serious medium, according to the Spiritism, will not correlate any mediumship activity with any financial return, with any return at all, by the way, right? So this is what the Spiritism preaches, if I can say like that. Modest mediums. Hi, Christine.
Hi, just to let you know, last night I was invited to a Spiritist church that it's the first time ever that I went. A friend took me and she said it was very good. And there was a medium or someone saying they were a medium there. And he spoke to a few people, but I found he was asking a lot of questions. It was very, I can now see the difference between what Kardec's saying and where I do seminars and different things in the past, how you can see the difference between the theory is really important as well as the practice, instead of just saying spirit said this and that's it. And that'll cost you $65 very much. And that's exactly what happened last night. So yeah, I understand why this was put in as it has been.
I think that it's very easy to us to say what is right, what is wrong, right? And that's why I mentioned that according to the Spiritism, that's what we perceive as a good medium. If the person says that he's a medium, even according to the Spiritism, have any relation between money and anything he or she does, it's not true. It's not a true spiritist, right? Could be a medium because everyone could be a medium, but it's not according to the Spiritism, right? And let's forget about mediumship. Let's think about human beings. what are two things, I'll ask you guys two things that normally creates problem in our incarnation. Before you say anything, I'll say money and power. In general, those two things are more than sufficient to derail our incarnation, right? So if any of us sees any medium making profit of this characteristic, even if the person is a serious person, believes doing right, he does not know the consequences of doing so. Normally, if you are a medium and you are charging anything, chances are that the spirits that are around you may not be the kind of spirits that we want. And saying that, whatever may come from those mediums is a gamble, in my humble opinion. Not saying there is not a serious person doing mediumship, but through the Spiritism, what we learn is that mediumship is free. We receive that for free, we give that for free. And when we do so, good spirits come closer to us to help us in this activity. Other than that, is a chance. Hi, Munir.
Hi, Guilherme. Hi, Christine. Good morning, everyone. No, I was going to ask Christine if they call themselves spiritualist church or spiritist church, because in the UK there are the spiritualist churches and they charge and they have a different approach to mediumship, different from spiritists. I
think it was spiritist. Spiritist church, yeah.
Yeah, because in the UK, according to what you described, in the UK, there are the spiritualist churches where you have a medium gathering, you pay, to go into. I'm not sure if all of them charge, but most of them, I know they charge a fee, and then you go there and the medium starts to talk and he or she talks to the audience and, different from the purely spiritist approach, where you don't charge, you don't do things in public in general. Talks, of course, yeah, it's in public, but mediumship manifestation and the medium using his or her faculty in public is less common.
Muniz, you remind me one thing here. Back in Brazil, other type of creeds that also use the mediumship as part of what they do. Sometimes they call themselves spiritists, but they are not.
Yeah.
Right? The spiritist follows Kardec's teachings, right? And if we are following Kardec's teachings, we would not charge anything at all.
Yeah.
And
it wouldn't be called a church as well, called Spiritist Center group.
I missed that. That's very true. That's very true. That's very true. But regardless, if the person is charging or not charging, why am I prepared to pay to hear a spirit saying something? What I am looking for, what I'm expecting to hear from this spirit that have been paid to say something for me. Those are the questions that I would ask myself before I endeavor in that avenue. I am in the UK, as you know. I know basically nothing about the spiritualists. I don't know. I really don't know. And I cannot criticize. What I can say is what we spiritists do, right? I really know nothing about the other creeds, by the way. I only know very little what we see from time to time. And our purpose here is not to criticize another creed the way they do, if they charge, if they don't charge, what they believe, what they not believe. Our purpose here is to show you all what we Spiritists do. And then I can speak about myself. If someone asks me to go to a mediumship meeting that I have to pay, sorry, I have something better to do. I will not go. Simply as that, I will not go, because I understand the risks of having this activity. Hi, Christine.
Yep. I just checked. It's called the Central Coast Spiritual Church / Group. Spiritualist group of positive-minded people enjoying meditation, healing, and mediumship.
Yeah. So yes, is another type of creed, another type of belief using mediumship, because we all human beings could be mediums, but this is not a spiritist, right? So now we have that clear then. So we have had over the years a tremendous amount of mediums that used to charge for their abilities, if I can say like that, coming to the spiritist meeting. And what they brought to us were not very positive. I mean, the status on the other side were not very positive. I even prepared to accept there's some people charging with a very good intentions. Perhaps we get the whole money, buy food to give to the homeless. I don't know, right? But there are people that are really trying to make a living from mediumship. And what we see from those visits we receive from time to time is that the result is not very positive for the people that are doing. And when they understand the differences between one and another, sometimes they mention that they regret what they did. But once again, our objective here is not to criticize any one of them, just to make you guys aware of what we do or what we do not do, right? And my personal comment when someone mentioned to me, well, I went over there, well, I will not go. If you ask me to go, I will not go. There are things that I know that really push me away from that. And I stop over there. If the person wants to go, so be it. You know, it's up to the person, right? But remember, money and power is one of the two things that can disrupt what we are or where we want to go. Modest mediums, those who attribute no merit to themselves for their communications, they receive no matter how good they may be. They feel foreign to the communication and do not imagine themselves to be beyond deception. Instead of running from impartial criticism, they ask for it. The great majority of mediums, they are impacted by criticism, by question even. And this is one of the stones on the path to make our path a bit more complicated. In the reality, we all should be like that, modest mediums, because this is one of the reasons why we understand that we cannot charge anything, because the medium is not doing anything. The medium is just a channel. It's just a pipe receiving information from one end and delivering from another end to another end. So if we manage to do anything with mediumship, is it me or is it the spirit? I have no doubt about it. It's the spirit. I'm doing nothing. I have no means to do anything, but I have means to be the channel of those spirits that want to help someone. That is something that we should really try to keep in our mind, that we should be like that. Devoted mediums, those who understand that true mediums have a mission to fulfill, and that when necessary, they must sacrifice their likes, habits, pleasures, time, and even their material interests for good of others. What do you guys think about that? So you don't think about anything, right?
Yeah. Can I make a comment?
Of course.
I think that the money, it's the money charging energy, or accepting excessive donations for your own benefits can often lead to the medium absorbing a negative vibe and coming out of the real spiritual work vibe. And when he does that, when he's working independently with lower spirits that are also linked to money, he becomes the object of difficult obsessions and difficult situations, and bring to this spirit, his spiritual work as a medium, instead of linking way up, begins to linking way down with the failed experience of the past mediums who also failed. So you don't accept money is not just because of the fact you are taking credit for someone else's work, but you also linking yourself with lower vibes, because money is into trade, is into drugs, is into prostitution, and is into struggling, suffering to buy food, suffering to be able to pay the bills. All that energy has power. And as a medium, you should abstain yourself from it and instead focus on the spiritual growth of the and here in the future, not linking to just Earth itself. This is my personal opinion. I'm not saying it's the truth.
I would like to, before I allow Christine and Denise to talk, I would like to make a few comments.
I just, sorry, did you say, Gilliam, you were going to talk first?
Yeah, but if you want to go for it.
No, you go. Sorry, I'll wait.
Money is neutral. The money left on the table next to me is completely neutral. If I use the money for good, it does generate good things. If I use the money for evil, will generate bad things. As anything in life, magnetism can be used for good, can be used for evil. But the magnetism itself is neutral. Everything in life is neutral. The people behind those energies, the people behind those items, they will drive the results. I was not planning to talk about obsession related to people charging for the mediumship, but it could happen. It could happen. We saw that already. It could happen. But why I would not say that? Because it's your free will. And try not to stigmatize one creed or another. I thought it would be better not to say that. But as you mentioned, could be one of the consequences, right? So now, go on, Christine.
Yeah, what I was going to say was back to the question you raised about devoted mediums. I guess there's all different levels of sacrifices that have to be made, and I mean that's what we're taught generally, is that in the devoted mediums, I mean that's true, and I accept that.
Christine, we are here in a Saturday morning, beautiful day outside. You are at home late at night because you're in the other part of the world. We open up a time in our lives to be here studying. This is a level of devotion already. And we are here, some of us, for almost 2 years or so. This is a level of devotion. But there are people that are prepared to go one step further. And when we truly understand what a medium is, what mediumship is for, what we can do with mediumship, when we embrace the results of this mediumship as charity, through charity, we want to do more and more and more. And we need to find a balance between anything else. What he's saying here, habits. I'm pretty sure that some of us here, we had different habits for the Saturday morning. Perhaps important ones. Perhaps not so important. But we had different habits until we started to study together. And we were prepared to let it go, those habits, to be here. Perhaps we are doing really sacrifices to be here. Because I'm supposed to be looking after my mom, I'm supposed to be whatever. Pleasures. That was my football Saturday morning. You have no idea how hard it is to me to leave my football behind, to be here. Or that was my soap opera time that I follow for, since I know myself, I used to follow that soap opera every Saturday. And I decide to be here. So sometimes you give away pleasures. And when we talk about pleasures, I go even further. Because when we realize mediumship, when we study mediumship, when we become acquainted with all the consequences of what we eat, what we drink, what we say, and when we start to realize that all of it impact in our mediumship, we also decide to change. Not everyone, but some people decide to change. So it's up to each individual to describe or to decide his or her own devotion. But one thing that happens very often in our mediumship meetings, let me say it happens, not very often because it's not every day, but it happens in our mediumship meetings, are spiritists that come to our meetings after being discarnated, and they mention that they regret not releasing a little bit more time of their habits, pleasures, and else to work in charity to others. On the end of the day, it's everyone's call. And when you go to the other side, perhaps you're happy with the results. Perhaps you will be a bit disappointed with the results. But it's a consequence of what we choose to be, what we choose to do. Right? Not criticizing anyone, but there are mediums that are prepared to be in a mediumship meeting once a month. There are mediums that are prepared to be in a mediumship meeting once a week. There are mediums that are prepared to do charity almost every day. There are mediums that don't do charity at all because they think they are doing enough just attending one meeting per month. It's up to the individual. But the consequences, they are also there. So now let me go to Denise. Hi, Denise.
Forgot your question, but anyway, let me just put my comments.
Okay.
I think like these good mediums, I think like they're inclusive of each other. You can be like, Because if you're going to be a devoted, you can be a serious medium. So I think like they're like a kind of intersection that you can be all of them at the same time. It's not exclusive, you're this or that. Just, I think the same what you said before, maybe you show, I mean, if you're devoted that you have a mission to fulfill, you assume that you're a serious medium, you know, kind of. So I think like one belongs to the other.
Yeah, I agree with you. Those items are intermeshing.
Yeah.
And I think Kardec, he just described it like that, just to make clear different points, right? But they all intermeshing with each other. Hi, Sandra.
Oh, hi. In terms of devoted mediums, call my attention and two words that Kardec wrote here. First of all, to have a mission to fulfill, which is quite beautiful. And then it's so interesting because he said, when necessary, they must sacrifice their likes. So, as you said, it's our free will and to decide how we are going to fulfill our mission.
Yeah, I would like to speak about two things there. The mission is not with humanity, is not to become a martyr or anything else. The mission is with ourselves. I am signing a contract to do one thing. When we don't do that on the end of the contract, what happens? We have some penalties, we have some consequences, right? And we are not a medium by lucky, by chance. Most probably we've been asked to be a medium to repair our wrongdoings in the past. So this is the mission. Is the mission to yourself? Is the mission to repair what you have done or what you haven't done? And preparing your pathway for the future. In regard to when necessary, I think Kardec was trying to be very polite here. I never met one medium that never had to change anything in his life, never had to give away a few things in his life. Mediumship is a beautiful burden, if I may say like that. Why a burden? Because I need to leave sometimes things I like to do. Sometimes I need to spare less time with my family to be with my universal family. Sometimes in our home, my partner does not share the same opinion as me and create problems. I need to find out equilibrium, compromise, to say, well, at least this day or this time or whatever. I know you do not agree with me. I know you do not believe in what I believe, but that's my time. And normally it does bring a burden in the family. I'm lucky because my wife, she is a spiritist, my son is a spiritist, but I have a daughter that is not. And sometimes I have to do things that she is not pleased. For example, she came to visit me here in UK. She wanted me to go in the morning, on a Saturday morning with her to make some trips. I said, I can go after my mediumship meeting. She was not pleased. Oh, I'm coming from far away. Yes, this is my commitment. I'm sorry. And it's not only my commitment with you guys. It's my commitment with myself. It's my commitment with the spirits that support those activities I'm in. Hey guys, I'm sorry. I'm going to have a good time today. I'm going to the pub with my daughter or whatever. Sorry, see you next week.
See you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I can see this. Sorry,
go on.
just to say I had the same thing happening last weekend. So sorry that I just took it in.
It's normal. It happens. But there's one thing. On the beginning, even the spirits, they are not very happy with what we are doing. They find a way to send dogs, wives, kids, neighbors, work colleagues, everyone to come to that time where you had your commitment. Is the door that rings? Is everything to try to take you away from that activity? It's very common. Until we truly decide, no, this is my commitment. Then the family starts to respect your choice. Then your work colleagues also respect your choice. Then the whole environment around you realizes that I may waste my time or not trying to disrupt his activity, but he will be there anyway. So I'm wasting my time, so it's better to do something else. And then things start to go away. But this is down to us. It's down to what you really want to be. I don't expect anyone to do anything. I expect you to be happy with yourself. And every medium would like to have the best spirits around them. They would like to have Bezerra de Menezes, they would like to have, pick a name, Kardec, they would like to have Posano. Every spiritist would like to be surrounded by enlightened spirits. But the only way to achieve that is being serious, devoted, trustworthy. That's the only way. And we only achieve that working. Is not praying. Praying is a very important part of it. But we achieve a good environment of spirits around us with work. And it's not work once a month. If we believe it's like that, we are lying to ourselves. We can give any example for you guys. Let's say Chico Xavier. He woke up early in the morning. He went to his bed, 4 o'clock in the morning. His life was work. And even him, from time to time, he had some trouble with the spirits not very enlightened. Imagine us. They are not prepared to give anything. We should accept our choices. Our choices bring consequences. Doesn't matter which way, but our choices will create results. If you are happy with the results you have, so be it. I'm talking too much today, isn't I? What time is it? Oh, no, I still have time. So, moving to trustworthy mediums. Those who, beside the ease with which they receive communications, merit great confidence due to their own character and the elevated nature of spirits who assist them. They are less likely to be deceived. Later, we shall see that this trustworthiness has nothing to do with the respectability of the names taken by spirits. So let me highlight a few things here so I don't forget. Deceived. Okay. So I hear one spirit here telling me something about Munir. Dear. Is it true? He just said yes. It's true. What should I do? Should I tell here in front of everyone? Munir will be very disappointed with me, but Yes, I will say in front of everyone, because I want to show to everyone that I am a very good medium. I'll use now Sandra as a scapegoat. Another spirit is telling me here that something about Sandra. Due to the nature, he's also telling me, don't say in front of everyone. Say just to her. But I know, if I tell Sandra what the spirit is telling me here, I will break her heart. I will make her concerned about her own life. Is that something that a trustworthy medium should do? Those two cases? Not at all. I'm a clairvoyant. Ooh, I see. Denise, I will describe to you 3 spirits around you, Denise, right now. As a result of what I will describe to her, she will not sleep today. I'm going now to Liz. Liz, I can see a very dark spirit around you. And Liz, for any reason, was already thinking about killing herself. I just did a little push in that direction, and she will jump from the bridge. Half an hour later. So a medium needs to learn to be quiet. A medium, a trustworthy medium, need to develop the sensation and the responsibility that I'm a medium. There are things I need to be quiet. There are things I should not say. There are things that are very specific and perhaps tell only the person. I'll give another example. I'll pick myself on this one. A medium just saw something on me, asked a spirit, and the spirit told the medium that I'm about to die. I have a disease that is really incurable. Nothing can be done. I have weeks before I die. And this medium, very charitable medium, will tell me that. What do you think is going to happen to me? If I'm really having this problem and I will die anyway. The medium don't need to push me in that direction, because I'm not aware of it. And she just told me, now I'm sad. I'll be suffering really for 3 weeks if that's true. But perhaps that's not true either. That medium just being deceived by spirits that are not trustworthy. Then my mindset will be that, yes, I have a disease. I'm dying. I had nothing before, but after I've been told that nonsense, my mind may work in that direction, and I will develop a disease. So mediums that we all are, and if we are here in this room, I believe that eventually we'll be working with mediumship. We need to be very conscious about our role, our responsibilities, what we do. There's a lot of mediums that like to talk a lot because they think they'll be nice in the picture. I see this, I see that, blah, 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 blah. This is not ideal. Mediums need to learn to be quiet, especially if we'll create any impact in someone's life. On the end, I think I spoke about deceived here, right? Anyone can be deceived. Even a trustworthy medium can be deceived. But as you have a good relationship in the spiritual world, if I may say like that, chances are that will come less often, right? Look what he's saying here, names taken by spirits. I may well tell you guys that I'm King Charles the fifth. You don't know me. And then I'll start to tell things to you, and you believe, oh, it's the spirit of King Charles V. Let me listen to him. Or pick a name, you know. May not be very true. We need to evaluate the content of the message, the content of whatever this spirit is bringing to us. We need to, how can I say, we need to see the results. What the result will be of whatever I hear, see, or say. This is our duty. So let me carry on a bit. It is undeniable, and you must well understand that by exposing the qualities and defects of a medium in this way, you will provoke annoyance and even animosity on part of some. But what does it matter? Mediumship is expanding more and more, and mediums who were to take these remarks badly would only show that they are not good mediums, which means that they are actually assisted by less evolved spirits. Moreover, as I have already stated, all this shall quickly pass, and bad mediums who abuse their abilities or put them to bad use will suffer sad consequences, as has already been the case with some. They will learn at their own cost the consequence for turning a gift that God has given them for their own moral progress into satisfying their earthly passions. If you cannot lead them back onto moral path, pity them, for you may say that God has reproved them. Erastus. Look at this remark Erastus made here. Depending on our choices, we may be assisted with better or less evolved spirits. Who can drive the type of spirits that will be around us?
We, our thoughts.
Exactly. We have that power. We have that power. Only we are able to create good relations with good spirits. No one else. And the other thing here is that he's also saying that if we put our mediumship to bad use, we'll have consequences. So sometimes I say that, but now is Erastus saying that, all right? This table of great importance, not only for the sincere mediums who is reading it, will seek in good faith to save themselves from the stumbling blocks to which they may be exposed, but also for all those who make use of mediums, because it will provide them with a measure of what they can reasonably expect. The table, as well as the spirit scale, which is supplemented, should constantly be before those who concern themselves with manifestations. These two tables summarize all principles of the doctrine and will contribute even more than you might think toward leading Spiritism onto the true path. It's a nice message from Socrates. I think that mediumship can be beautiful. And it's a pleasure to be working with mediumship. When we truly understand what mediumship is, what it's for, what we can do, how we can help others, how we can help the spirits. It's beautiful. It really is. It becomes part of our life. But when we don't, then we see mediumship as a burden. Hi, Denise.
Oh, sorry, but which table?
Remember that we were talking about the 1800s. And at that time, you used to have communication through the table,
Okay, all right, okay.
the turning tables.
Yeah, all right, okay, thank you.
Recently, I bought a spiritualist book, and I realized that our spiritualist friends, they also have communication, still have communication through the table, and that is something that do not diminish them in any shape or form. Is a way to get communications, right? How many?
Oh, hi, Guilherme. I got a different impression from the word table here because it says in reading it. And I think there's actually this, this information organized in a form, perhaps initially in the form of a table, specifying each type of mediumship and so on. I mean, that's what I grasped from this message from Socrates.
Could be, yeah.
Because it's been, put there, the different types organized in different categories. And I mean, that's what I got when it said table.
Yeah, that could be that, yeah. But I didn't see like that, because when I see a table, I say spreadsheet. Yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah.
That I was expecting. I was looking at the spreadsheet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Munir. Yeah, but I did get that one, and I was looking where the table. Yeah.
I'm so used to work with spreadsheet. I need to have a spreadsheet. So, hi, Liz.
Hi, everybody. I think what would have happened maybe is that at the time that these messages were actually given, that they had formulated this in a table form. And of course, Socrates was actually commenting at that time about how they had organized the information before it was printed.
Mm-hmm. That's very possible, yeah. Mm-hmm. What time is it? Still have time. So we move on. All the above mediumistic varieties present innumerable degrees of intensity. There are many that, strictly speaking, do not comprise more than simple nuances, but are, nevertheless, the result of special aptitudes. We must realize that only very rarely is the mediumistic faculty strictly limited to one type. A medium can undoubtedly have several aptitudes, but there will always be a predominant one. And this is the one that should be cultivated if it is useful. It is a grave mistake to want to in any way force the development of a faculty that one does not possess. On the other hand, it is necessary to cultivate all those that one possesses in a germinal state. However, to seek others in a waste of time in the first place, and in the second, it could mean the loss of certainly the weakening of those that already exist. The great majority of mediums I've met, they have more than one type of mediumship. Mediumship can be developed naturally, but I totally agree that we should never force someone to develop one mediumship. Pablo, he really wants to be a clairvoyant medium. He wants to see all the spirits that come late in the night to visit him. He do not want to get surprises anymore. And he started to really do a lot of crazy, weird stuff because he suffered a lot on the internet. And someone on the internet says that he can open his third eye with something, or eating, I don't know, you pick a name, eating only fish, you open your third eye. So he's now in a diet for almost 3 years, only eating fish. And his third eye is not working yet, right? But because he's so deep into that thing, he started to see things that do not exist. He started to create around him something, an environment, and some spirits trying to have fun will come as well to give him a little push, you know? So why does Pablo wants to be clairvoyant? We should not envisage anything like that. If it comes naturally, it's beautiful. So he will hear, he will see, he will write, he will speak naturally. We should not do weird stuff trying to develop something that possibly may not be natural, right? Someone sending messages here. Okay. When the principle or seed of a faculty exists, it is always expresses itself through unmistakable signs. If they would limit themselves to their own specialty, mediums could perfect it and obtain grand and beautiful results. However, if they concern themselves with everything, they will not get any good results. In passing, it should be noted that the desire of indefinitely extend the ambit of one's faculties is pretentious pride, which the spirits never leave unpunished. Good spirits always forsake the presumptuous, who then become the target of deceiving ones. Unfortunately, it is not uncommon to see mediums who are not content with the faculties they have received, and who, out of vanity or ambition, aspire to possess exceptional ones that they believe will make them famous. Such pretense takes always the most precious quality, being regarded as trustworthy mediums. Well, I think we spoke about all of it already, isn't it? And we need to be careful with what we want, with what we ask. Sometimes we want to be more than we should be, and then we get lost. When we get lost, I mean that the spirits that are not very concerned about our well-being will come closer, and they will start to play with our ego. They may even come to us, say they are our benefactors, telling me to do this or do that, and then we may get lost. Harmony?
Hi, Guilherme. What I see as important when developing a faculty, that is blooming, or type of mediumship that is blooming, is actually to work the moral side of the medium. I think this is the most important aspect. Not to choose, oh, I'm showing signs of this type of mediumship, but I, as you said, oh, I want to be seen by many people, and so I want this type of faculty or this type of manifestation, and so on. So pride, selfishness, and vanity, these are the three main stumble stones that we may find in our way as medium. And if we don't have mediumship, not that we don't have, but we have no trace of the faculty because it's dormant during that incarnation or during that period of life. Sometimes we complain, oh, I want to develop or force this or force that. And it's interesting that Ivone Pereiro, she once said in an interview that if we have no trace of mediumship, no organic trace of mediumship, that's because our body is not prepared to receive or to interact with the spiritual world. And that could actually cause some damage to us. Because if it's an organic faculty, that means those who have, their body is prepared for that. Those who don't, their body is not prepared. Otherwise, they would easily engage into spiritual communication and so on. So just for us to, pay attention to this, that we always want something that, will put us, at a pedestal or something due to our pride, selfishness, or vanity.
Munir, when you were saying that, something came to my mind. That is, do we want to be obsessed? Do we want to start our obsession process? Do we know how to recognize an obsession process in ourselves and on others? Because when we want so much one thing that is not meant to be, we become obsessed. Ourselves will become obsessed. And then perhaps our own obsession towards something will get the attention we don't want. Attention from the spirits that will benefit from that own obsession you have, and they will create problems for you. They will start to be around you. And for example, I want to be the best medium of this group. Clearly, I'm better than Munir. Munir mediumship is nothing close to mine. Look at Sherry. Sorry, Sherry. You'll never be like me because I am the top medium of this group. I feel very sorry for Pablo. He believes he's a medium. And I can see everything. Everything that comes through him is only himself, what we call animism. There's no spirit around him at all. I am the best ever. And the problem is, I truly believe I'm the best. And then the boundaries of this group is not longer enough for me. I need to be the best in my city. I need to be the best in my country, in the whole spiritism world. And then I'll get lost, completely lost. And anyone that approaches me trying to warn me, hey, there's something wrong there, they don't know what they say about me. Because I'm so happy to be the one that I'm listening to those spirits, that I believe they are my guides, they are there to help me, they are there to make me even more important. And the result can be disastrous, not only for the person, but for the group the person is. Because who wants to be surrounded by someone like that? No one. No one. Right? We need to be very careful indeed. So, hi, Liz.
Hi there. Yeah, I'd just like to go back on to the physical reasons for actually not receiving. Because you see, you can have calcification of the pineal gland and the pituitary. This can happen from too much fluoride, aluminium, and everything like that. And I got a kind of semi-message this morning to myself that it will be after I'm well into taking my remedies that things will improve for me. And I do know that I've got problems with glyphosate, and a lot of people have. There are many things that can prevent us from having that physical ability for receivership capability. And another reason is for our own safety, because if you have mental problems or, you have psychosis or something, you don't want to be opening things that are already kind of annoying you and obsessing you. So, yeah, sometimes it's for our own good, but also it's from are actually our own body's constitution, its homeostasis. So there are many, many reasons why we cannot actually have that receivership capability.
I always like to relate things to the Spiritism. And a couple of things you said, I cannot find that in the Spiritism. So I cannot comment. One thing I can say, nothing is impossible to God and to the elevated spirits. And sometimes even someone with a nasty disease may become an important tool through mediumship. And perhaps even the mediumship is what will repair the problem.
Mm.
Right? So, but thank you very much. And it is our time. And I'm really happy that you all were here. So as Pablo is now a clairvoyant, I will ask Pablo to do a quick prayer before we go.
Dear God, we are thankful for all the healthy discussion, the topics, the doubts, the questions, the clarification, and the will that it's growing in our hearts and minds for being ever curious about the topic of mediumship, what it means, the applications, what should be pursued as good practice. So please, Father, keep this with us. Keep this curiosity and, of course, our capability of reaching out to Kardec as our guide of good practice. May we all have a nice weekend full of joy and blessings. Thank you, and so be it.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
I wish you all a great weekend and see you very soon.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. God bless.
Bye.